Mari Smith, who is a social media thought leader and a premier Facebook marketing expert, also commonly referred to as the Queen of Facebook. Welcome, Mari.
Thanks, Ken. Thanks for having me. I'm
Yeah,
excited. I don't think I've ever had 3 interviewers on one, so I'm excited to see what you got for me.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Mari, I'm so grateful that you decided to be on. I've been a big fan of yours, and I think I met you at the Twitter conference in Los Angeles in 2008, actually.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. So I've been a follower of yours for a long time. And full disclosure for our audience, I've taken several of Mari's courses, and they're all fantastic. They range from Facebook and Instagram lead generation made simple, Facebook organic marketing mastermind, also referred to as FBOM. And yeah, they're fantastic. So I highly recommend that you guys check out Mari. Also, a great Facebook group called the Social Scoop. And so there's just constantly fantastic information about what's going on in the world of, especially Facebook, but also Instagram as well. So, yeah. So, Mari, I'm going to go ahead and get started with the first question.
Okay.
Um, how has Facebook's algorithm evolved in 2025, and what strategies should small businesses use to maximize the organic reach and engagement?
The number one change, which has been slowly rolling out over the last several years, so I'm saying several because here we are 25. So yeah, it's pretty much in 2022. But still a lot of marketers and everyday users are oblivious to this and blatantly copied from TikTok. It is the AI powered discovery engine. It's what the algorithms are based on. And that it's no longer just friends or followers. It's interest based. And so these AI powered algorithms can predict with incredible accuracy what it thinks you will be interested in seeing. So our feeds now, Facebook and Instagram, probably Threads too, and many of the other social platforms are copying this too. I think X, LinkedIn, YouTube, as much as 50% of the content you see in your newsfeed, your feed, is suggested for you. It's not from friends. It's not from people you've proactively chosen to follow. And so as a user on the user end, it can be very frustrating. You're like, oh my God, what happened to all the content from my friends? However, you get that kind of dopamine hit and you get it's like exciting. You don't know what you're going to discover next. And in fact, Meta claims that their time on site has gone up, Facebook and Instagram, by 6 or 7%. So I think your question there, Ken, was like how could businesses maximize like that change? I listened to a little bit of Gary Vaynerchuk. You all know Gary V,
Yeah.
longtime industry friend as well. We go way back, and I don't like follow him like religiously, but just lately, the last few months, he's kind of come back on my radar, and I've really been paying attention to what he's saying. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we're talking the same language, because there's never been a time in the history, almost 2 decade history of social media marketing or social media platforms, where the playing field is totally level. So a small business owner with an account that has 500 followers has just as much chance to create the next viral hit as somebody with 50,000 followers, because of this non-followers. You want to really start paying attention in your metrics to your views to non-followers. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's pretty exciting.
It actually is, Ken. I know, because it's like, wait a minute. And this is what Gary Vee talks about. So, I mean, he's a massive agency with like 3,000 employees, right? And like major brands as clients. And he's like, never before have we been able to just like produce amazing content at scale, test the heck out of it, see what the algorithms fly with. Then you put, like before you even put a single dime on the paid side. So, you don't have to like just throw money. Like, I think like the Super Bowl ads are probably the most expensive ads in the world. And you're
Right.
like sitting there crossing your fingers. Oh, I hope this works. Right. But it's like on social media, it's like you can test so much pretty much for no or low cost. And certainly if you're favoring the short form vertical videos and repurposing them across, your reels on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, shorts on YouTube, the whole works. So yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I know, and I learned this from you that, the Facebook algorithm for the last several years has been de-emphasizing organic content for most pages,
Yeah,
where it's been dropping down, slowly but surely. And the sentiment of a lot of people has become Facebook's a pay to play platform. And it sounds like that's, while that still may be an element, and it's certainly always going to be an important targeting element, there is now a new opportunity for small businesses to take advantage based on these algorithmic changes you're talking about.
very much so, very much so. The emphasis is on creating really, really excellent quality content that has a strong hook, which we can absolutely use AI for. So a really strong, compelling hook, and you just dive right in. You capture attention within the first 3 seconds. You put great covers, great thumbnails on your videos, and it's pretty short and succinct, and it could either be entertaining, but certainly educational, informative. Some people go for humor, but definitely not like constantly pushing link posts with promotions. That's just not going to fly with the algorithms or with the users. So your goal here is to craft your content actually for maximum shares, maximum engagement. Sure, you want reactions, you want comments, but I love shares. And
Hmm.
Adam Mosseri, the head of Instagram, he talks about how one of the key metrics that they look for, the algorithm looks for, is private shares. So people who will DM you someone else's reel or
Hmm.
content, going, "Hey, I thought you might like this. I saw it."
Yeah.
Cat videos fall in that category.
Yeah, absolutely. So you mentioned several different types of content like reels. Do you see anything working better than other forms of content? And also, I want to ask you about this kind of exploding topic that I'm seeing on faceless video. Do you see faceless video performing as good or better where it's AI generated than a live human doing these videos? Do you have any data on that?
I don't have any data, Ken, but I got to tell you, I personally I'm not a big fan of these AI created faceless videos, and I know many of our industry peers, known names, and they're touting these faceless videos, and you can start a YouTube channel and get all your followers, and I'm like, yeah, but how are you monetizing that? I hope you're monetizing that, but for me
Yeah.
personally, this gets into the area of like where AI is going and how I mean, I'm a big fan of AI. I know you call it a tool. I totally agree with you. It's a tool and it's how we use it, it's how we train it. But for me, I just feel like where everything is accelerating at such a rapid rate, the more you can do what we are doing right here today. We've got real human beings. I don't think that any of the three of you are clones. I know for sure this is the real me.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a use case, there's places for clones, but this authentic, real human to human connection, live is great, video is great. And certainly on the reels, yeah, I think that as I mentioned, like with the compelling hooks and capturing the attention in the first 3 seconds, and then going right into somebody on camera. Now, of course, you can splice in all kinds of B-roll, and that could be AI produced if you want. You can use AI to change your background. In fact, last month, Adam Mosseri published a video on Instagram touting Meta's Movie Gen, which is basically their answer to OpenAI's Sora, and to be able to create pretty amazing video. But initially, they're going to bring it out fairly soon to Instagram, where you'll be able to just put a text prompt in and change the background, or add something in to your. My cat just jumped across the camera and moved it to move the cable. Hey, you little rascal.
This is authentic webinars
See what
Yeah.
I mean?
podcasting.
Real
Yeah.
fun. And then we shut the door. Shut the door, and then she'll be meowing at the door.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, authentic, real. You can't make that up. Well, you could if you wanted to, but yeah. So I would say favoring the short form vertical videos. I don't know. What do you think of the faceless videos? Are you guys seeing any clients go crazy with it?
Yeah, not so far, but it is. certainly intriguing because one of the challenges, with the folks that we typically work with is just literally producing content. And so, if you have no content, you have no chance. At least if you can use some faceless content,
Yeah.
then maybe that, from a production perspective, maybe that's going to help some small businesses and also those camera shy business owners that
That's a
don't
really
really
good
want.
point. I think that's the number one reason that people don't do video, get on video at all. It's just very confronting for people. They don't like themselves on camera, or they're not sure what to say, or they're shy, or
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, what about Facebook groups? Are Facebook groups still a really important platform for folks to be using?
uh hmm. It's a tough one, Ken, because I have seen people really struggle to get traction in a new group. It has to be, again, back to that word compelling, right? There has to be this strong reason to keep coming back to the group. And oh, you know what? I want to cite something here is Gina Bianchini. She is the co-founder of Mighty Networks, right? Before that, co-founder of Ning. Remember Ning? I know we're all old,
Oh yeah,
old enough,
yeah,
of the right age to remember Ning. I liked Ning. That was a cool, one of the OG social networks
yeah.
or platforms. But Mighty Network is really good. So Gina and her team did this study where they discovered with I want to off the top of my head, it's something like 90% accuracy of what determines the success or failure of a group. And I asked people this a lot in my courses, and people are, oh, okay, it's the, it's the topic, it's how charismatic the influencer is, it's the
Yeah.
content. It's not what it is the amount of engagement and conversations and collaboration between the members. And
Okay.
I'm like, wow. So I have almost stumbled upon magically this flywheel effect in my own social scoop group. Thank you for mentioning it earlier, because I don't have a content strategy for that group. I post content in there when there's some timely, relevant, topical news, but otherwise 90% of the content in my group is created by the members asking
Yeah.
for support, sharing resources. And so if small business has the time to do that, one of my top clients, they do that as well. It's very, very much the members engaging with one another, asking questions. And so there's a use case for groups, but don't think that you're going to start a brand new group and all of a sudden you're going to have 50,000 members and, the cash register will ring. It does take a bit of a strategy these days.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Mhm.
Hey, Mari, you actually alluded to some analytics already, but I wanted to ask you, what are some key changes that have been made to Facebook and Instagram analytics, and how can small businesses effectively use these insights to adjust their marketing strategies?
Sure. Yes. Hello, Ian, my fellow Canadian. I'm glad we're talking about metrics because this is a very, very timely. I want to say it was August of 24 that Instagram suddenly announced by a reel from Adam Mosseri that they were creating what they call a unified metric. So no longer would you have like videos, views, and impressions on your posts, and then reels plays on your reels. That's all this unified metric called views. And then in the last maybe month or so, Facebook rolled that out for everything, all types of posts. So it's all views, and views have replaced impressions. And they can count multiple. So you got three, it looks like three views, but it could be one person watching three times. And views on a video historically on Facebook were 3 seconds, whereas a Reels play has always been exactly like TikTok. It's 1 millisecond. So now you might see an uptick in some of your metrics, because it's just that fleeting moment that any type of content, whether it's a story, a reel, a carousel, a regular image, a regular video on Facebook, that is just flying across the screen, that counts as a view. So important to know. And then I would say for sure, I mentioned it earlier chatting to Ken there, that the non-follower, I want people to start to really pay close attention to your non-follower views, especially on your videos and on your reels on both Instagram and Facebook. You can get in there into the metrics and see that, because that just shows you that if you're getting like maybe 50%, or even when it starts to tip the balance and you're getting maybe 60% of your views from non-followers, now you can kind of like, as a marketer, as a small business person, take that filter off, those glasses off of like chasing the followers. Oh my God, if only we had more followers, then we'd make more money. No, I'm here to tell you in 2025, that is not your mantra. You want to be chasing more views and, well, not chasing, you want to chase more leads and sales. That's what pays the bills. But in general, for analytics, that's what I would say there, Ian, is the unified views metric, making sure that you're keeping an eye on the non-followers.
Yeah, and if you were to take the non-followers, views by non-followers, how can you then transition that into actionable, tasks or tactics that you could then employ to try to get more views?
Well, yeah, good question. So you want to really assess your winners. I call them unicorns. Excuse me, my friend Larry Kim calls them unicorns. It's basically the content that's performing better than any of your other or your most recent content. So maybe you got 2x, 5x, 10x the views. And so start to really track and keep a note of, okay, what really worked about this? What are people saying in the comments? Are we getting more DMs on this? Are we getting more clicks on Instagram, the link in bio or whatever? On Facebook, I suppose with Reels, you could put your link in the caption on Reels, but maybe you want to try putting your link in the first comment on Facebook, really for any kind of post. But taking that and translating it into tactical, CTAs. I think on Instagram, one of my favorite CTAs is to go ahead and deploy the chat bot like through ManyChat. And so you could say, DM us the word, free resource or something a little more exciting than that, free gift, and then when they comment that, it automatically triggers. I know you guys probably know about this, maybe for your listeners. And then you can set up this whole sequence where now they're getting added to your CRM, and you can, flow them into a nurture sequence to basically turn into conversions.
That's awesome. And right now we're talking mostly about native analytics. Are there other tools that you would recommend employing as far as data analytics or analysis of how things are working for you on the social media channels in order to do better that are outside of Facebook or Instagram?
Well, here's where we could probably bring in some AI. So for example, you can go into Meta Business Suite, which is going to pull in your Facebook and your Instagram. And then, you can get your metrics from your other platforms too. But you could download like the last 6 months of data, or the last year of data of like everything you can possibly export. And then go ahead and take those files and upload them to ChatGPT, or you can also use Meta.ai. Meta AI will allow you to upload files. I think not as many people use it just because ChatGPT was first to the scene, but it's really powerful, Meta AI. So you can go ahead and use that to analyze, spot patterns, spot trends, maybe dial in your audience a bit more, find winning approaches, just depending on the prompt that you use. So that'd be one tip there. The other thing is possibly there are third-party tools. I think depending on the size of a business and their budget, they might be investing in a social media management tool that also probably has metrics. I know a lot of folks like Metricool or Social Pilot. I'm sure you guys have your favorites too. There's another one called Amplify. Remember them? I know way back in the day, they were called Social Bakers, and then they morphed into Amplify. I think they're one of the premier platforms when it comes to analytics.
Awesome. Thanks.
Sure.
Hey, Marty, can we maybe start digging into ads a little bit? I know a lot of our clients want to run ads on Facebook, and there's a whole lot around that. What are your top recommendations for small businesses that want to run ads on a limited budget to get the best bang for the buck?
Limited budget. Well, so if it's an e-com business, right, they're actually selling goods, then I would recommend trying a really low price point, like an impulse purchase. Because I know A lot of folks, myself included, have bought so many things off of Instagram ads in particular. I don't know what it is about Instagram. You're just surfing through like, oh, that's something I need, add to cart. So possibly trying that low price impulse purchases. Otherwise, I think if you're on a budget, I really like to focus on lead generation and try to get that cost per lead as low as possible. And then you go ahead and you sell in your email follow-up sequences. And so for that, there's an ad unit called lead ads. And because a lot of folks use Facebook, I suppose maybe the older demographic are on their desktop. And then many of us who are in the business were using both a lot, desktop and mobile. But lead ads do real well on mobile, and especially when you're having it go to Messenger. In fact, you can even select it where it can be the form, the lead form where it's pre-populated. I wouldn't get too crazy asking that many form fields. Just name and email is usually plenty. Maybe one other qualifying question. Although I do notice a lot of B2B, more on the enterprise level, they really like to ask numerous questions because then they're really going to pre-qualify people. So depends if you want volume or you want pre-qualified. So lead ads where they are, they can either send you a message on WhatsApp or Instagram or Messenger, or fill out your little form, which is oftentimes already pre-populated. And so, yeah, that's what I'd recommend for a lower budget. And then the other thing too, is really, as we were talking about earlier with Ken, is just because of the way the algorithms work nowadays, to really make that incredible organic content, test like crazy, iterate, then add your budget once you've done some good testing.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
And then
Maury,
in terms of,
sorry, Jeff, just real quick. So while we're talking about the lead ad forms being pre-populated, one of the things that we've seen is actually a lot of accidental submissions because it is pre-populated. So I recommend at least asking one or two qualifying questions just to get somebody to take action to confirm that they're actually filling out the form instead of accidentally landing on it and submitting it and not even really knowing about it. We've run into that as a serious problem.
That's wild, because I thought that Facebook actually makes you do one more tap, because when they first came out years and years ago, their little moniker was tap, tap, done. And so it's like you tap on the ad or the form, and then you make sure it's got the information that you want to submit, because I might want to use a different email than my Facebook email. Right. Then you hit another tap. But I see what you're saying. If people are accidentally submitting that, that's not good. So yeah, great tip.
Yeah, thanks.
In terms of different levels of the funnel, going from brand awareness, engagement, conversion, are you seeing any better or worse places that Facebook ads work? And especially if you bring in the different formats, what formats are working well, different places? Do you have anything on that?
Well, formats, I think the different places in the funnel, I like to recommend spending about maybe half your budget, no matter what your budget is, spending about half of it on a warm audience, doing retargeting. So I really like video views as a warm audience. So you could increase. So here's what I would recommend. So let's say you're doing some really great reel on Instagram and or video or Facebook, and it's one of your unicorns. You see it's getting more reach. Okay, you're going to go into Ads Manager, you're going to boost it, and to help it to increase those video views. Now you're going to go in and gather up that audience of video views, and they're relatively inexpensive to retarget. And you could include, numerous videos, regular videos, lives, reels, Facebook, Instagram, the whole works. And by the way, they are still currently 3 seconds in Ads Manager. I did check it the other day, and I've got a memo into Meta, one of my ad contacts in Meta, to say, hey, is this going to ever change into the 1 millisecond inside of Ads Manager? But hopefully not. We'll see. I'm saying hopefully not, but maybe that would be a good thing. They're not going to be that targeted if they're only seeing it for 1 millisecond versus 3 seconds. Anyway, so you create your video views custom audience, and now maybe retarget them with more like maybe a lead ad or direct to a form on your website, which you can also do with lead ads. But yeah, just to kind of warm people up and get them used to you, get them seeing you, as opposed to going for cold. Although I do have some clients, I personally don't run ads for people. I don't, that's not part of my business model, but I have clients that I work closely with who I recommend agencies to them, and they are finding, cold, depending on there's a certain price point that you can reach a cold audience for going right to a sale. But generally speaking, I like to warm people up and go for the awareness or engagement objective is what will get you the more video views. So.
And then let me ask about boosted posts. We get a lot of people that don't want to go through all the effort of creating a full up ad campaign. Are boosted posts worthwhile, or is it just don't even bother, just go straight to the ad campaigns? What are your thoughts on that?
It's funny, Jeff, because it's a bit like being at Vegas, right? They're always tempting you. Play the slot machines.
Ting, ting, ting.
Give us $20. We'll make this go further. You could get 10,000 more reach. It's very tempting. It's a little manipulative. However, there can be use cases, and this is directly from Meta, that they recommend allocating maybe only about 10% of your overall budget, no matter what that is. You're only spending $1,000 a month, then maybe $100 total on your boosts. They can be really good if you're in a hurry, something's time sensitive, you're out and about, and you've got your mobile device, you see something, oh my gosh, this is really getting some great traction, hit that boost button and just give it a little bit of a lift. Just keeping in mind, as soon as you hit the boost button, you can no longer edit the post. I've had a few folks ask me that. I want to edit this. I'm like, you boosted it, it can't be edited. You got to start afresh. But otherwise, going into Ads Manager, as you guys well know, you're going to get way more abilities to split test and placement selection, whatever you want to do. Mind you,
my last,
I just want to add something real quick, Jeff, because I think with the AI inside of Ads Manager, I think that Facebook is actually really wanting us to just have as little involvement in there as possible, like to take the hands off the steering wheel and let them do their thing with the AI.
That actually kind of plays into my last question on this thread. Most of the ad platforms want to be very good at taking your money, right? So what are some cost saving tips for small businesses to avoid overspending on their ads?
Well, it's interesting. This comes up in my own community as well about, what's a good budget and, how to stay in your budget. But if my personal opinion is there's not necessarily such a thing as overspending, because if you are getting a solid ROAS, right, return on ad spend, then it's a matter of you've got this self-liquidating model. For every dollar you put in, you're getting $2 back, or 3 or 4 or 5. So my recommendation is you're going to go ahead and create your own internal benchmarks. And I've seen, some small businesses, they're getting like, I just was working with a client recently. I had them fire their agency and hire a different one because their ROAS was like low to me. It was 1.2, 1.7 maybe, and that just felt low to me. So I really encourage them to have a whole different strategy and set a much higher benchmark. And that's going to be up to each individual business, and you're going to keep testing and iterating. But I mean, something like 5 or 6 is pretty huge for every dollar you put in. You're getting, $5 back. But keep on trying and experimenting to make, like Gary Vee says, make incredible organic content that you then use that as your ads. So it's going to perform well and you can get your ROAS up.
And watch the analytics, watch the metrics. Yep.
Exactly.
Hey, Mari, this is Paul. I work with Ken.
Hi.
So anyway, we're both sitting in a hotel right now. So my internet connection seems to be a little flaky. But,
okay.
Just wanted to let you know. But I think we all know that AI is going to change pretty much everything, whether we like that or not, whether we want it to or not. It just is. So
Right.
Meta has some AI tools that they say will improve organic and reach and paid marketing efforts on Facebook and Instagram. So can you talk a little bit first about what those tools are and how to leverage them, how to use them?
Sure. Yeah, sure. You can, so Originally they had imagine.meta.com, and that was just for their images. It was really good. But now that's been replaced with meta.ai. It's out in about 50 countries, maybe more. But also, whenever you see that little kind of pinky purpley circle logo that's now replaced your search bar, it's in the DMs, Instagram, Messenger, WhatsApp, and also sometimes it appears at the bottom of the home screen on your Facebook. It's dancing. It'll have a little animation. Use me. It's like Zuckerberg's trying every trick in the book to try to get you to use Meta AI. And in fact, at the end of 2024, they were declaring that Meta AI is the most used AI assistant in the world. Well, hello, you got over 3 billion users, and you're going to shove that thing in every nook and cranny where people are using it, whether they even want to or not. So then you can declare you're the most used AI assistant. But yeah, so I think that a lot of folks are using it similar to ChatGPT and as free. I know there's a free level of ChatGPT, but on the business side, you can certainly use to improve your organic content. You can go to meta.ai, and use it exact same as you would ChatGPT. Craft hooks, craft any of your improve your copy. You can make images. I mentioned earlier about that movie gen is coming soon. And then on the ad side, when you're in Ads Manager, anywhere you see the advantage, the word advantage with the little plus sign. It's got a little plus at the end of advantage. So you got Advantage Plus Creative. That is going to enhance, let's say you upload landscape video, and it will optimize it for reels and stories. Excuse me. Then you've got Advantage Plus Audience, and this is the one I think is creating the most confusion right now. And I have discussions about it in my Social Scoop group, where some folks are saying, "Oh my God, it's amazing." Some folks are like, "Oh my God, it's crap." But it's the Audience Plus is where your parameters, the specifications you put in to reach your ICA, ideal customer avatar, right? Are just suggestions. So then the AI is going to go out much broader and find, it's a little bit like lookalike. It works similar to lookalikes. Or you've got what's called controls. So you're like, don't show this to anyone under 18, or don't show this to anyone outside of Texas or whatever, right? You got Advantage Plus Shopping. So anyone on the ad side can really, they're probably already taking advantage, pun intended here, of the AI inside of Ads Manager. On the organic, Paul, I don't know. I feel like the jury's out for me. I'm not seeing a lot of use case of Meta AI on the organic, or really, using it as much as they do the other AI tools. Like, I'm just trying to remember the time frame. I want to say it was like October or November last year, and I put a poll out on my Facebook business page, just a question. I'm like, okay, if you force people to choose, if you could only pick one, ChatGPT or Meta AI, it might have several hundred answers. Nobody picked Meta AI. It made me laugh, but then a few folks put in the comments, they're like, "Oh yeah, but I love Meta AI for images." So honestly, I just feel like it's still early days yet. One of the most critical tools that will be coming online this year, I'm sure, and maybe even Q1, certainly by Q2, Zuckerberg keeps touting, is what they call the business AIs. Business AIs. I think there'll be a fee for it. I think this is really going to be a game changer.
Okay, so you mentioned ChatGPT. Okay, the paid version of ChatGPT is $20. Okay, so
Yeah.
But so how can businesses use AI to personalize customer interactions on Facebook and Instagram?
Well, that's definitely where the business AIs will come. So I'll answer that backwards. We'll start with the future. The business AIs, this is where they're going to come into their own. You'll be able to program like your own agent, give it a name, whatever, and just have this entire knowledge base. Really, in essence, my understanding anyway of how it would work is to have your own GPT that's totally trained and programmed with your business's knowledge. So now you're going to have customers and prospects able to interact with that in the pre-sales, in the during sales, and in the post-sales. So I'm like, wow, I'm all in for that. So we'll see. We'll see what Zuckerberg's got up his sleeve. I think that they have got that out already in beta, private beta with some companies. Otherwise, you're asking me here, Paul, like how to personalized customer interaction, that's where I would circle back to the chat bots. ManyChat is probably one of the most popular, but there's two others folks can check out. It's called Chat Fuel, or Larry Kim's company, customers.ai. It's funny, it started out as Mobile Monkey, but he changed it to customers.ai, which I think is brilliant. It's a great domain. And so the chat bots, absolutely, you can pull in some AI, but I don't know in terms of like really personalizing interactions beyond those, just the chat bots and waiting with bated breath for the Meta business AIs.
Okay, that makes sense. So, final question for you, real quick. And I think you touched on this a little bit. Are there ways to use AI to automate ad creation and optimization outside of what Facebook does automatically, if you will?
Yeah, no, I'll bet you there's numerous platforms out there. The one that just came across my desk fairly recently is called Poppy, Poppy, like the flower. Poppy AI. It's pretty reasonably priced, and I've seen some agencies rave about it. I personally haven't used it, so I'm not talking from experience, but my understanding of what it does is not necessarily really automating the ad creation optimization, but it is somewhat, because it's at the beginning phase. So you could have it go and look at a whole bunch of competitor ads, or it doesn't even have to be a competitor. It could just be ads in a totally different industry that you admire or something, or you like their approach. And it'll pull in like PDFs and YouTube videos and all kinds of data that you feed it, and that it goes out and crawls, and it will craft you some amazing ads in certain styles that you tell it to. And so there's that. But yeah, inside of Ads Manager, they're going to try to get you to use their tools in there. I think this is probably an area, it's not something I'm super familiar with. Like I say, it's like ads are not really my forte, but I know just enough about them to be dangerous, I like to say. But yeah, folks like my friend Tara Zerker, she's the founder of Successful Ads Club. Folks like her, or John Loomer, people that's all they do. That's their wheelhouse, is just all day long as they specialize in ads. I will bet that they would know and what's coming down the line with third-party AI tools, that you just feed it some information, it will spit out the most amazing ads. Maybe we probably could do that with ChatGPT or Meta AI to a large degree.
All right, thanks. Good stuff.
So, Maury, you were talking with Jeff a little bit about, lead ads. From a lead generation perspective, what content seems to be the best to get people to give up their information and become a lead? You have any thoughts on that? And is it different on Facebook versus Instagram?
Honestly, I think it does depend on your industry, because B2B is going to be maybe more like white papers or free webinars. B2C might be a little bit different. I usually like to focus on anything that's compelling free education, but doesn't take long. Something that will help people to save time, save money, make money, get ahead in life and business. I think it was Tony Robbins that popularized where people really kind of only motivated by two things, and that's towards pleasure or away from pain. So depending on what hook you're going to use, just showing people how you can create, move away from the pain of spending so much time in their business, and here's how to automate more with systems and AI or whatever. I think too, like short and easy to consume, I'm seeing a little bit of diminishing returns on things like 1 hour webinars, or even like the evergreen webinars, where you can pick your own date. I like to see ones that are pretty short and easy to consume. A quick example, you guys are probably familiar with Jay Schwedelson. He's the founder of subjectline.com and the Guru Conference. I love him. He's just so fun. He's fun and funny. Well, recently, this is like last month, I saw it go by that he was doing this free training on LinkedIn Live. So he had people register on LinkedIn Live, and on the live, they had like 400 live viewers, and it felt very informal, just almost like a fireside chat, but it was really packed with loads of information. And then at the end, he didn't do like this big heavy sell and said, go, buy my stuff, or, here's countdown timers and all the things that we do as marketers. He's like, just email me. And he gave out like an email address to say, hey, if you want the slides and if you want this, and I got this extra thing for you and that bonus, and you want to be added to my list, just send your email to here. And I was like, that was really effective. It felt really fun and engaging and personal. And it was B2B. So yeah.
Yeah. For a while, people have been talking about, free courses or, quizzes are good lead magnets.
Yes.
Ebooks have been around for a long time, but
Mhm.
I get the sense that they're kind of falling out of favor a little bit, maybe. Maybe a checklist is going to perform a little bit better just because, as you mentioned, we need to have easy to consume content.
Yeah.
But I'd love to know if you see anything particular. And I know, it's going to vary from e-commerce to a brick and mortar business to a service area business, B2B versus B2C. I mean, there are tons of variables, but what criteria should people be looking for when they're creating a lead magnet to get that lead and build that relationship?
Yeah, I think you're right here, Ken. There's room for like innovation. Ebooks have been around for decades. I'm a skimmer. See, if you give me like a quick summary or even a full transcript, side by side with a video, like even like a 5-minute video or something, my eyes are gonna skim through and even search for keywords on that written word. So my brain just tends to do better with the written word. But then I might watch the video as well while I'm like putzing around doing the dishes or feeding my cats or putting my makeup on or whatever, and I'll just put it at 2x speed and I'll consume the video or the audio. But I want to give an example of something that I thought was really, really amazing. It really caught my eye. It was an ad on Instagram, and it was our good friend John Jantz, right, the founder of Duct Tape Marketing. He's a legend, been around forever. I understand he's actually handing the business off to his daughter. I think he's kind of semi-retiring, and his daughter's
Yeah.
taking over.
That's
So
correct. Yeah.
I saw this ad. I couldn't believe my eyeballs. It was for an ungated lead magnet. So I clicked through and it says, watch this short 5-minute video. And I'm like, what? I don't even have to opt in. I can watch this 5-minute video, like tap on the ad and boom, it's there. I thought it was really cleverly done. And it was specifically to help grow your agency. It was for agency owners to help them grow. But right below the video, he had a calendar booking system embedded and to go ahead and book your free call, your free strategy call or whatever. So I thought it was really cleverly done. Another quick example, my longtime industry friend, Molly Mahoney, she's a firecracker. I'm sure you follow her, but she is frequently doing things like she'll do a live demo. And this works well too, where you literally got your big computer screen, but you grab your phone and through your phone, you're doing a quick reel and you're showing something what you're doing, but you're not revealing the tool that you're using. She's always demoing an AI tool. Hey, if you want to know what this is, drop this comment, let me in, I want in, or DM me. And she's really good at doing those kinds of hooks for people to start generating interest in leads. Oh, by the way, one other quick thing on the leads. Leads/selling, a drum that Gary Vaynerchuk is really beating loudly for 2025. He's predicting the top trend will be live selling. So if you have anybody in the e-com business, then we're going to see a lot of live selling. Very, very popularized already in China. And it's funny because Facebook and Instagram, it's like they've been there, done that, but it's like it's coming back. And then there's this app called, is it Whatnot? I'm not too so familiar with it, but it's called Whatnot, where it's like people are selling their things through live selling. It's impulsive, it's compelling. So yeah, that's I think that'd be a great way to not only generate leads, but also possibly sales.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I just saw Molly speak this week, actually. So
Oh, you were at that bot AI
the AI
Perry's
Bot
thing.
Summit. Yeah,
Good
that
for
Perry
you.
Belcher did. Yeah. Yeah. So, I think a lot of people, when they think about lead generation, they immediately think about having to pay for ads to be able to get leads. But, like you mentioned, Molly, and I think there's a real strong trend for creating short form video in the
Yeah.
form of reels, probably particularly, to just give those short little content bursts get that visibility, but also just have a nice, easy way to have a call to action to get those people who are interested to raise their hand and say, yeah, I want to learn more about that. What are your thoughts about those?
Oh my God. I honestly, I think if there's one of the best performing content formats that is the most underutilized, it's stories. I think that brands and businesses of all sizes just forget to do stories, or because they're ephemeral, right? They're gone in 24 hours. And when the whole concept came out, as a marketer, I was just like, what the heck? Who has time to create content that disappears? But now it's like, earlier when we were talking about how the algorithm shows your content to non-followers, so that's all of your feed content, but stories are only shown to your followers. And you can never like jam up the feed. You can't like overdo the algorithm. If you want to post 20 stories in a row, no problem, because the user, it's under their control as to how many they consume or not, right? Tap or swipe to the next one. And so stories, the beauty of stories on Instagram in particular, but also on Facebook, is you can include links and calls to actions, but I wouldn't overdo it. Just do all your promotions and CTAs and links nonstop, because that's going to not get as much engagement. So in the stories, you can be more informal and more personal, more humanized, real people, background, behind the scenes kind of stuff, and maybe some of that, and then intersperse with your offers and your CTAs and your links. With Reels, yeah, I think the most compelling and easiest CTA on Instagram is the DMs. DM us this word or comment this word, and then they get the DMs through the ManyChat or whatever one that you're using.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
Oh, by the way, those of you paying for Meta Verified, I don't know why. Well, I probably do know why. It's a monetary play, but Meta has introduced like multiple levels of the Meta Verified. And if you pay for the higher level, I don't know anyone that's doing it. I certainly wouldn't do it, but you do get the opportunity to put links in Reels at one of the higher levels of Meta Verified. FYI.
Awesome. Thank
Hey,
you.
Ken, I just wanted to check with you how our time's doing, because I know we have a few more questions, but
Yeah, we try to keep this at about an hour. So we do have a few more questions. So Ian, Jeff,
We do
and
lightning round?
yeah,
Sure.
we can do that.
I can do a super fast question for you, Mari. Ad budgets for
Yes.
local businesses like dentists, roofers, you name it, remodelers. Is there kind of a starting point or a sweet spot for ad budgets this year?
Gosh, the first number that comes to my mind is like 1,500, but if someone can do 5,000, great, but it's all about the ROAS, right? It's got to come back to, don't even spend a dime unless you know for sure that your ads are yielding a positive ROI. Yeah. And the other thing too, though, I like to say is if someone is brand new to ads, you're going to take maybe the first 1,000, 1,200 and know that you're just going to slowly burn through that to just test and iterate. Or just test and iterate with your organic before you add $1.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I can chew up the time that maybe that Ian would have spent on that question. Just maybe at a high level in general, if we can dig into specific marketing strategies that you think small businesses should implement on Facebook and Instagram, in 2025.
Yeah, overall for the strategy, it's like the name of the game now is organic content is the darling of social media, and has to be really, really compelling. So whether it's entertaining, I personally love to see like where it's humanized, there's real human stories, there's short engaging videos, it's real people. I always say like tugging at people's heartstrings. If you can move them emotionally, if you make people laugh, cry, or go, oh. So an example real quick, one of my courses, I think Ken, you might have been in this one. There was one of the participants in my course, they were selling like steel enclosures for farms. And when you looked at their Instagram, it's like so much of the gear, like just pictures and sometimes little videos of the, the steel enclosures. And so when they switch to having one of their guys doing, like, they call it like the walking man style of videos, so like someone's following them around with a camera, just a phone, and then he's demonstrating the various styles of fencing and enclosures, it was just so much more engaging. You say, oh, okay, wow, I see this in context, not just like a brochure kind of style of your social media marketing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think having a human face influences anything in the algorithm?
I think it does 100, 1,000%, no question. Yes.
Yeah.
Does it have to be a real human face?
I knew that question was coming.
I love it
think
that
we're
came from Paul.
What's that, Ian?
I said I love it that came from Paul. The
Oh,
glowing
right.
orb.
Of
Maury,
course.
so you know, Paul does not appear on camera, so
We're just
I don't-
waiting for him to get his AI generated avatar.
I'll work on that. So I'm glad I got this question. There's some mistakes in Facebook and Instagram marketing. What are some of the common misconceptions, whatever? And you kind of touched on one. The way I see it is ad budget. It's amazing how many people think they can get results for $500 a month, and it's just not going to happen. To me, that qualifies as a myth.
Yeah. There's that. I would say for this year in 2025, my number one mantra is going to be stop chasing more followers. It's not about the followers. I even saw somebody put a comment in recently, marketing professionals say, in the future, will we even need followers? That's how profound this change is. Because if the AI is going to be able to do things like putting our content in front of people who've never heard of us and we don't know they exist, but all of a sudden, because the AI is so sophisticated and clever that it knows, oh, there's a buying intent here because it's been watching the things that it watches the ads you've been consuming. It watches the websites you're looking at. Oh, wow. Oh, why don't we put this ad in front of this person? Boom, you've got a sale. So just this whole idea of like, if I could, it's a vanity metric. If I only had 1 million followers, then I could retire. It doesn't work that way anymore. So that's funny, not funny. My main drum I'm beating. I would say also, Paul, a myth or mistake would be link posts. It's just, putting too many link posts, and we do want to use our links, so go ahead and try them in the first comment, try them in the stories, and then just stop chasing vanity metrics. Remember what pays the bills: leads and sales.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, I like your comment about followers because you're absolutely correct. Everybody wants to chase. Oh, I have this many followers. So what? Did they do anything?
Yeah, exactly. It's just the ego, our
Did
monkey
they
mind.
engage with anything?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I would rather have a much smaller following and have more, more engagement, more clicks, more DMs, all the things, the way the algorithms are working, or, a smaller audience that really engages well, like my Social Scoop group. Okay, would I like to have 250,000 instead of whatever it is, 26,000 these days? Maybe, but whatever, you just serve the people that come to you the best that you can and focus on keeping on top of all these changes, which is why people are listening to this podcast, which is awesome. I'm really glad that you guys are doing this.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I guess just to kind of follow on with that though, in terms of followers, one thing that is very important, I think, is building a quality email list. So how can you get people from social media onto your email marketing list or text marketing list is appropriate, or even remarketing, opportunities where you don't actually know the person's name or have their direct contact information. But that's really ultimately, I think, more important, obviously, than just followers. Like you said, followers is purely a vanity metric.
That's right. That's right. Were you asking me a question, Ken?
Well, just do you have any thoughts or recommendations about how you take people off of social media
Oh, yeah.
to get them onto an email or text marketing list?
Well, that's the thing back to the lead magnets, right? It just has to be so compelling, timely, quick and easy to consume, helps people save money, make money, have a better life.
Yeah.
whatever the deal is. On the Facebook group side, for those folks that do have a group or thinking about a group and really have a compelling reason for one, there are some tools, like I use one called Group Funnels. In the admittance questions, I just ask people 3 questions. And then the third one is like, can I send you my free social media guides or resources? And I just have them enter their email. There's 2 of them. There's their Group Funnels and there's one called Group Leads. They're GDPR compliant. It's just a Chrome extension. It's not an API because there's no API in groups anymore. But just really driving people either the DMs, just trying to like lower the friction and make it so seamless that people see something and they're organic. They're like, wow, that looks amazing. Yeah, sign me up. I mean, I can't tell you how many email lists I'm on. I'm always signing up for stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was Donald Miller that, talked about the value of, an email address right now is like $25. So perceived value. I mean, people have to feel like they're getting at least $25 worth of value before they're willing to give up their email address.
Wow.
And I know that's probably a statistic that's a couple of years old, but
Mhm.
people need to realize, and to go back to digital marketers mantra, value in advance. I mean, that's the key. If you want to start building a relationship and take advantage of anything in online marketing, it really has to be a value in advance strategy, I think.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. And I think something that Ryan Dice has said over the years, founder of Digital Marketer, is that a lead magnet needs to deliver exceptional value. I think he said like within the first 5 minutes, and again, that's an older stat. I want to say like in the first like 60 seconds, it's like you want people to go, wow, is this what I get for free? What will I get if I pay? So
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Mari, we're running up on our time limit here. I wanted to thank you so much for being our guest today. I also wanted to, give you an opportunity to let our listeners know how can they learn more about you? How can they find out about, the classes that you have? Because they're all fantastic. As I said before, I've taken, I don't know, at least 5 or 6 from you, I believe, and
yes, over the
they're
years.
all tremendous. You're somebody that I really value. As a thought leader in our space and making, digital marketing less, and particularly social media marketing, less complicated for people and more actionable. So how
Right.
can people find out more about you?
Well, any of the socials, Mari Smith and marismith.com, my website. Come and join my social scoop group on Facebook. That is linked through from my Facebook page. It's just at Mari Smith. And as I often like to say, just Google me. So, yeah, and you can reach me in the DMs, usually in Facebook and Instagram. I don't get to LinkedIn as much, but I will eventually. I mean, if you message me there, I'll see it sooner or later. So, yeah,
Okay.
thanks.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much. Just one last thing. Is there anything else that you feel like we haven't really talked about today that we should share with our listeners, or just anything you want to kind of reemphasize before we
No, I appreciate you saying that. I think that there's really interesting times right now with the rapid acceleration of AI and these constant changes. And there's Zuckerberg just the other day announcing, they're going to do away with the fact checkers, and people are freaking out and they're going to leave Facebook and go to Blue Sky. And it's like, I really encourage everybody, marketers, small businesses, to just take that deep breath and come back to what's important to you. Focusing on your business, your strategy, your methods, educate yourself, but never feel panicked or overwhelmed or like you can't keep up. I think keep up is just a ludicrous notion. There's nobody can keep up, whatever that even means. So just do your best each day and serve your clients, and all will be well.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
parting wisdom.
I'm glad you brought that up, because we frequently talk about, don't let your personal biases influence what you decide to do and what marketing channels you decide to use, And I mean, if your idea, it's really, it's not about you, it's about where your ideal customers are. And if they're still on Meta or on Instagram, you shouldn't walk away, right?
Yes, that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Mari. It's really an honor to have you on. I really appreciate it, and thoroughly enjoyed our conversation.
My
With
pleasure.
that, Ian, I will let you take us out.
All right. Thanks again, Mari. And until next week, folks, keep calm and market on.